Good evening from Salobrena. It's Friday evening tonight, and I've actually come up this rock. It's called Penon. If I come around that way, you might be able to see a bit. It goes back that way, you see. I think it was an old prison. Excuse me. And if I come around this way, you can actually see, like, if I do, that's La Caleta over there, on that side. I mentioned that before. That's a beach that I've been on quite a lot. I was on there this morning actually, and I said at one point I was the only person on there. And you come around and you've got the hills behind, and there's the town, the white village is sort of all tumbling down the cliff there. Not literally, which is where I'm staying. And then you come around, you've got the new town, and then the hills and the mountains behind there. So it's quite a nice little spot, this actually. Quite a nice spot, and it's Friday evening, as I said, so everyone's coming out. It's one of those things, the Spanish people are out, and they've built there's that little restaurant right down the bottom, down here somewhere. There's a little restaurant down the bottom there, and they got boats that like upturned boats, fishing boats, old ones obviously, and they fill them up, and they actually use wood, and they cook either sardines or small fish on there, or just octopus, squid or something, and they just leave them there. It smells amazing with the burning wood, but then you presumably, I've never eaten them in there actually. It's a bit expensive. But they sell that there, and they just cook there, and there's another place just over there as well doing it, but they're setting up a little table, a little stage there, because I remember last year I stumbled across, and they had like a Spanish guitarist playing, and doing some flamenco dancing as well, which I saw some flamenco in Seville, so I'm going to have a look down there later on. Probably won't start till quite late now. It's like in Spain. But a couple of things I wanted to mention actually. There's a particular drink called Salobrena, which Ainsley introduced me to a few years ago, when I think it was when I was over here with Clive up in Orgiva, up in the hills, when we stayed in their property. We went to a place called Motril, which is the next town along the other way. And what it is, it's obviously very much an Andalusian drink, but Spanish specific, but specifically Andalusian. And what it is, it's brandy mixed with an aniseed liqueur. It's not Penon or anything like that. It's actually like a clear aniseed liqueur. Sounds pretty awful, but I am partial to a bit of brandy or cognac, and it's actually very, very drinkable. But yesterday, we were talking about it the other day, but in the restaurant I'm going to go in very shortly actually, I thought, I'm going to try one, see if they've got one, see if they know what I'm talking about, because even Ainsley said some places they don't know what you mean. It's very much a local drink, and actually the owner of the restaurant was, so they did have one, and knew exactly what I was talking about, and they put a nice ice cube in it as well, which is quite nice. And he said it's actually thought of as quite an old person's drink, and that his father used to drink it all the time. quite a good thing. But another thing I'll mention actually is the temperatures, because it's been pretty hot obviously when I was up in Seville. 45 degrees, and it's gradually got cooler. It was still pretty warm up in Granada, and it was pretty hot down here. It was in the 30s as well when I first got here. But I mentioned about the change in the weather, and you can see it's absolutely beautiful now, the views and everything. The sea's still pretty calm on both ways. I'll show you this side for a little bit. I think that's a bit bright, isn't it? Oh, a bit bright for me. But now it's down into those sort of nice sort of mid-20s. It's about 27 yesterday, it's 28 today, which without the humidity and the way that the sort of dry climate is here, it's really nice actually. It's a very manageable temperature. It's just you think, oh yeah, this is very nice. I'm sure. I mean, obviously it gets cooler, but they don't have much rain here. I mentioned before about the lack of rain. It hasn't rained properly since about March, and they had 320 odd days of sunshine here. One other thing quickly I will mention, apart from doing all these videos and trying to post them, which isn't very easy because of the internet connections, but problems in the modern life I suppose, but also I've as per last year and in other places as well where I've been, I keep in notes, sort of writing little notes down and jotting little things down of things that you see and the things that you overhear and just things that strike you, and it's quite interesting to look back at some of that and writing some of these things down. I remember looking back at the ones I wrote in Seville last year and here as well last year, and I've just been jotting a couple of things down and noting that down, so maybe that'll come out. And I've already got one idea for another video actually, which is something that myself and Ainsley were talking about the other day, specifically about videos and use of the internet and this type of thing, about not being able to upload things and how it's frustrating and all that type of thing. But anyway, I'll leave you with the view. It's pretty good, isn't it? It's a lovely place to come up this time of night, but the light is, the sun's going down and the sunsets here are pretty stunning. I should imagine if I find my usual place in the restaurant, it's so strategically placed so that I can look out over the sea towards that direction behind me, and where the sun is, obviously, where it's going down, and where there's a beautiful sunset. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. I'm certainly having a good time here, and I shall speak to you again some other time, no doubt. Adios.